everyone, and welcome back to Welcome back to Repeat. On the last episode, it was the last one of the like the hour-long shits. Now it's purely the Owen run, as far as I'm aware. I don't quite remember. It's been a while. Ever since that Amber shit fucked up the recording schedule, it's been weird. But now we're back, and we're doing Owen stuff. So let's go with the Owen stuff, yeah. I yawned long and hard as I stepped into the hallway. It must be past midnight by now. The bed in the guest room was comfy, and Samuel has been surprisingly welcoming to me tonight. But I just couldn't fall asleep. There was something about this house that felt heavy with history. Or maybe it's just my paranoia talking again. Either way, it's a bit difficult to fall asleep with an unfamiliar roof above my head. Maybe a drink of water would help. I hope Samuel doesn't mind if I poke around a little. As I made my way towards the stairwell, my camera suddenly shuddered from where it hung around my neck. This feeling, a cold chill ran down my spine. There's something in this house. Another wish, maybe? I could almost feel an unheard voice beckoning me to come closer. I might as well follow it. These kinds of ghostly things usually don't leave me alone if I ignore it. Gulping down my nervousness, I crept down the hall and walked into the room where the voice was coming from. Whoa. Those are the cranes. Those are the cranes. A gentle, cool breeze caressed my neck as I walked into the room, stunned by a sudden spectacle of colors. For a moment I forgot to breathe, or breath, as it says. This was beautiful. I stared wide-eyed at the hundreds upon hundreds of hand-folded paper cranes hanging throughout the room, each meticulously made with love and care. Someone obviously put a lot of time into making each bird perfectly. I made my way across the room and peered at the family portrait hanging from the wall. In front sat a middle-aged woman, her face painted with worry lines but still radiating with a kind and noble beauty. Beside her was a much younger Samuel. It looked like almost a decade younger than he does now. The eye patch was still present on his face, and several fresh scars were present, but he still smiled proudly towards the camera. My eyes trailed down the photo to the last person. Wait, is that... There was no doubt. Still recognizable as a little toddler. Owen sat on his... I knew it, motherfucker. As soon as... I had a fucking feeling, man. Owen sat on his mother's lap and was absolutely beaming at the camera. He looked so bright and happy. I don't think I've ever seen him smile so genuinely in person before. My camera trembled coldly against my chest again, and I blinked. I took a step back and stared at the colors surrounding me, a creeping sense of dread gnawing at me. I didn't need to count, I just knew. There was exactly 999 paper cranes in this room. I wish that never came true. I nearly leapt out of my skin as the door behind me suddenly swung open, revealing a very pissed Samuel. Kid, I said you were welcome to stay here, but I said nothing about snooping around. Samuel, I'm sorry, I didn't mean... I shook my head confusedly and pointed at the family portrait. Never mind that, you're Owen's butler? Samuel's one good eye, widened with surprise. Wait, you know Owen? Yeah, we're practically best friends at BriAnna. I can't believe I'm in his house right now. I yelped as Samuel grabbed me by the shoulder anxiously. You're friends with Owen too? How is he doing? Is he safe? Does the school treat him well? Despite being shaken like a rag doll for answers, I couldn't help but laugh. Samuel's anxious spluttering sounded like an identical echo to Mrs. Corliss's worried shouts earlier. Owen's fine. He's still a big, cheerful kid, and the teachers at BriAnna treat him well for the most part. Samuel breathed a sigh of relief and finally let go of my shoulders. That's some good news, at least. I wish he'd call home or answer my messages. Owen hasn't come home in almost 7 years. Does he ever mention his home life around you guys? I peered at Samuel curiously. It was clear as day he was worried sick. Has he been tending to this house for the last 7 years, too? It's a long time to spend alone. Owen doesn't really mention his home much. He gets this sad look on his face whenever I bring it up. Oh. But by the way, I don't mean to be nosy, but could you tell me what happened here? I'm a bit worried about Owen, too. He's been really upset lately. Samuel sighed heavily and pulled out a chair, motioning me for a sit down.
It's a long story, kid, but I'll tell you. On one condition.
Well, what is it?
Could you try and help me get back in touch with Owen? He's been avoiding me for some time. I just want to know why. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I miss the little guy. He's the closest thing I have to family now.
I gave Samuel an earnest smile. I'll do my best.
Thanks, kiddo. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Samuel sat back down on his chair and sighed.
Now, where to start explaining?
The beginning is usually a good place. Yeah, motherfucker.
Sounds about right.
Time for maybe a cutscene? Not like an animation cutscene, but...
I started working for Owen's mother shortly before he was born. Her name was Heather Adlai.
Like Adlai Stevenson? Former presidential candidate? Okay.
The heiress of a rich and powerful family. You'd expect someone of her background to be a snooty, arrogant bitch, but Lady Adlai was probably the kindest and most noble woman I have ever met. I'm proud to have been her butler. Anyway, Lady Adlai married a man named Oleander Lorelei.
That's a fucking name, isn't it? Oleander Lorelei.
A little before I started working for her.
Lorelei?
Yeah, that asshole. Their marriage was short-lived. Lorelei divorced her shortly afterwards with some legal bullshitting, made off with half her family fortune.
Usually it's the other way around.
A little while after that, Owen was born. His father was never there for him growing up, but his mother loved him very much. They were as close as mother and son could get. Owen grew up to be a really sweet kid. His mother worked hard to make sure he was happy, even without his father around. Of course, I was there too, as their loyal butler and bodyguard.
You were their bodyguard too?
Yeah, Owen was technically a Lorelei. Someone had to make sure the local idiots didn't hurt him too bad. I think I did a pretty damn good job. Not a single scratch or scar on him that I know of.
Samuel's tone suddenly turned quiet.
Around the time Owen was 12, Lady Adlai fell very ill. She died a few weeks later. Owen took her death pretty hard, even for a kid. After that, he told me he wanted to leave home for a while and went off to several boarding schools before settling down at Grania. I've hardly seen a peep out of him since then.
It's sad. He doesn't come home at all?
That's right. He never answers my calls or messages. Did his damn best to avoid me the last few years. I know he took his death of his mother hard, but this is still his home, and I'm still his butler. Just remind him of that for me, will you?
I'll do my best. Owen's been avoiding his home for almost 7 whole years? It sounds like more than simple mourning. There's definitely more going on than meets the eye. Because he has a fucking eye patch. God damn it. Just what is his family hiding? Jesus Christ. And that's the end of this fucking day. Oh my god. What the fuck? The hell? He's getting poked with thorns and shit. Jesus Christ. Partners in crime. Bet Jenny has something to do with that. Good lord, that is a haunting image. I weakly crawled into the living room as the morning sun glared through the window straight into my eyes. Nothing like a bad morning to remind you just how cruel the world truly was. My eyes suddenly snapped open as I sniffed the air. Was that pancakes and bacon? Making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I put it in a pancake. Oh, look at him!
Morning, kiddo. You sleep all right?
I don't know what his voice was originally, but it's pretty much just turned into Coach Grifter at this point.
Breakfast will be ready in just a sec.
Whoa, Samuel! I barely recognize you. You actually look like an honest-to-good butler. Honest-to-good? It's honest-to-God. You don't have to be religious to say honest-to-God.
What are you saying? I'm always an honest-to-good butler.
But now you finally look the part. That fancy suit is performing miracles.
Yeah, I was actually debating if I should stay in my boxes this morning. You certainly love to stare.
I didn't stare. My face instantly flushed with heat as I buried my head into the kitchen table. Now I know where Owen's flirtiness comes from. Samuel smirked at my embarrassment as he set a plate of pancakes and bacon in front of me.
"'Tis alright, kiddo. You certainly helped inflate my ego. Anyway, you want some coffee?"
That'd be great, thanks. I stared grumpily at Samuel as he fiddled with the coffee machine, humming cheerfully as he did so. How can anybody be so happy this early in the day? Oh no, I thought as I wrinkled my nose in disgust. He's a morning person. Oh, God!
"By the way, John, I can give you a ride back to your school later if you'd like."
I thought you said your car was busted.
"It is, but Owen's motorcycle is still sitting around."
Owen owns a motorcycle?
"Well, technically it was his mother's, but I'm sure they wouldn't mind if we borrowed it for a bit. Sound good to you?"
Sounds excellent. Walking is a pain this early in the morning, sorry. Thanks again, Samuel.
Hey, you're the one who's helping me speak with Owen. This is the least I could do.
I stared into my pancakes nervously. Speak with Owen, huh? I haven't the slightest clue how I'm gonna bring this up. I'll worry about it later. Breakfast comes first. Cool. That's peaceful music. I yelped as the motorcycle skipped to a halt in front of Garania Academy. Samuel drove like a maniac. I'm honestly surprised that we didn't die along the way.
Is this the right place, John? Shit.
Yep, just dropped me off by the door. Looks like Mrs. Corliss was already by the entrance waiting for me. Her old worried face broke into a smile of relief when she caught sight of me. Oh, John, it's good to see you back safe and sound. I almost can't find... Where's your fucking... Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I almost lost the voice there for a second. And it was certainly good to see you again, Mr. Samuel Clark. Thank you for taking care of my student.
Miss Corliss? It's been too long. How have you been? Wait.
Samuel's one eye narrowed as he glanced at the school, and then back to me before looking back at Mrs. Corliss.
You're Owen's teacher? Owen's been living at this school for the last 7 years and has never once crossed your mind to tell me where he was?
Mrs. Corliss stared back with equal intensity. I'm afraid Owen has specifically asked me not to divulge his whereabouts to you. I apologize for the trouble this may have caused, but I respect my student's privacy. Samuel hung his head dejectedly and sighed.
You're right, I'm sorry for snapping.
Samuel turned towards me and helped me off his motorcycle with a strained smile.
Well, it was good meeting you, John. I'll see you around. And don't forget about our little promise.
With that, Samuel drove off into the distance and disappeared around a street corner. Miss Corliss placed a comforting hand on my shoulder and smiled warmly. Well, it's good to see you back, safe and sound, John. I trust Samuel treated you well. Yeah, he did. Cooked breakfast for me and everything. Sounds just like Samuel. He's always been rather kind-hearted, even if he has made some poor decisions. Speaking of poor decisions, I hope this is the last time you return to the school this late. Several of your friends had broke curfew last night as well. I glanced up at Mrs. Corliss as we headed back towards the entrance. They did? Who? You may ask them when you meet. In the meantime, classes will begin shortly. Mrs. Corliss pointed at the bright Visitor's Day sign hanging over the door with an enthusiastic grin. Remember to stay energetic today, John. We have many parents and family watching. You're on candid camera, bitch. You can't look that bad. You gotta look this good. That would be an insult. I stared at the school doubtfully. I'd hate to break it to her, but a lopsided sign written in dying Sharpie was the opposite of energetic. Bitch, you got printers. There was a surprising amount of activity inside the school. The hallways were full of wandering parents and curious family members being led around by their respective students. I felt rather out of place here. Craning my head over at the crowd, I scanned the halls for that familiar orange face. Owen did say he planned to skip classes today, too. Maybe he already left? If you're looking for Owen, the idiot's right here. Oh, shit. John, good to see you back. Why are they mad at each... What's Philip so mad about? Jesus Christ, I just saw you. Hey, guys. And Philip looks pissed. What's going on? I peered at the two of them and blinked in surprise. Owen, why is there a huge bruise on your face? I wasn't there yesterday. Oh, shit. Oh, that, Philip sighed and rubbed his temples tiredly. Owen got jumped by a bunch of thugs last night. Oh, shit. What? It was great. You should have seen it. What? I was surrounded by, like, 5 of those tough-looking dudes, and it was really nerve-wracking. And then suddenly Philip pops out of nowhere and single-handedly takes them all out. Philip hisses and gave Owen a painful look to pinch on the arm. It was past midnight. I waited for hours for you to come home. And then I spent another good hour in a damn thunderstorm searching for you. And after all that, you decide to get jumped? You decide to get jumped. He's just mad. That phrasing is that, hey, it's not like I wanted them to come after me. And then we got our asses handed to us by Mrs. Corliss for breaking curfew. Can you blame me for getting pissed? Owen gave a nervous laugh and not so subtly used me as a shield against Philip's rage. Philip suddenly turned his glare to me, piercing my skull with those sharp red eyes. And you! Where the hell were you last night? I didn't get jumped. I just got stuck in a thunderstorm and ended up staying with one of the neighbors on Derry Street for the night. Philip glared at me carefully before breaking into another tired sigh. Could you two manage 1 week without worrying me to death? It's scary to see you guys just disappear on me. It could have been dangerous, says the guy who got shot last week. Touché. Let's just agree to not scare each other to death again, okay? I think I sprouted gray hairs worrying about you guys. Oh, Philip cares about us. I'm starting to regret this conversation. Anyway, I've got visitor stuff to take care of. You two behave yourself while I'm gone. With that, Philip sped down the hall and disappeared into the crowded school. Owen patted me on the back comfortingly. Don't worry too much about it. Philip gave me an even longer speech when we got home last night. He just wants to make sure we're all right. He sure has a vicious way of showing it. I was perfectly fine last night, for the most part. Oh, speaking of which, did you really stay with someone on Terry Street? I'm surprised. The people on that street aren't really the generous type. About that. Hey, Owen, I need to talk to you real quick, privately. Owen raised an eyebrow with amused suspicion. Like the serious privately or the fun privately? I laughed through my obvious blush as I pushed him through the crowd. Get your mind out of the gutter, dude. Aw. Why would you take him outside? Let's go out in public, even more public, to talk privately. We managed to find a quiet and secluded spot in the courtyard to talk. I was chewing on my lip nervously as I wondered how the hell I was going to explain. Owen watched me boil in my own anxiety for a good few minutes before finally speaking. The beginning's usually a good place to start. We just fucking heard that line. Easier said than done. I let out a deep breath before returning to face Owen. Here goes nothing. Last night on Derry Street, I ended up staying at your house with your butler, Owen. We ended up talking about you for a bit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Slinky time. Shh. Owen's eyes widened in sudden fearful shock. Wait, you stayed over with Samuel? He grabbed me by the by the shoulders and checked me over as if to see if I'm undamaged or something. Did he do anything to you? Were you safe? Samuel's a really nice guy. I know going home brings back some bad memories, but Samuel really misses you. No, John, I can't. I mean, 7 years is a long time to be alone. Can't you at least answer his calls or something? John, listen. I know I shouldn't be so nosy but avoiding Samuel for so long, can't write. What? Couldn't you at least have a talk with him? John! I stopped blabbering and stared up at Owen, his face a baffled mix of emotions. His arms were shaking against my shoulders as he struggled for breath and words. John, I can't. What's wrong? Owen took a deep, face-strained frustration as he looked me deep in the eyes. I think Samuel's the one who killed my mother. Oh my... I thought she was sick. Do you think she got poisoned or something? I stared at Owen blankly, dumbfounded. What? Why would you think that? Samuel's worked for your family for years. He helped raise you. Didn't you say your mother died of an illness? Oh shit. Owen covered his face with his hands and groaned in apprehension. I don't know. I just don't know. The doctor never gave us a clear answer of what the illness was, or if she really died of sickness at all. So I got suspicious. I ended up digging through Samuel's things, and I found a contract. A contract to kill. This is Samuel's signature was written on it. He agreed! I placed a hand on Owen's trembling back, trying to soothe his ragged breathing. A hitman? What the fuck? Maybe we should let the police know or something. They can sort this out. No, that's not the problem. Don't you understand, John? Samuel's my family, too. He's been good to us all these years. If it's true and he really did kill Mom, were all those years a lie? Was he faking it this whole time? Owen's voice cracked as he stared into the distance, chuckling weakly. When I was younger, I accidentally called him Dad a few times. He'd always laugh at my mistake, but there was always that glint of pride in his eyes, like he was proud of me. He used to make me so happy. Was that fake too? Was this all just one big lie? I gulped and reached up to hold Owen's hand gently. Owen, listen, is there anything I can do to help? He wiped his face off with a trembling hand and sighed. No, I don't think so. What is there even to do? Find proof that my closest family killed the other for money? That's not gonna make things better. Avoiding the whole thing for 7 long years isn't gonna help either. Don't you want justice? I don't. I don't want to hate Samuel. I've had enough of this conversation. Owen, he sat up and brushed himself off quietly. I'm gonna get some peace and quiet. Quiet. Good day, John. Shit! Just gonna fucking walk away? Just gonna bail on this shit? Motherfucker, you just... God damn it, man! It's a little too goddamn deep for you to just bolt like that. With that, Owen turned around and walked away in silence. I stared after him, chest clenching tightly. I can't just leave things like this. There's more to this picture than we know. But will finding the truth really help? I reached shit down and gripped my camera, staring at it carefully as I turned it about in my hands. There is something I can do to help. What we need now is a little piece of the past. Aha! I paced up and down the halls whilst chewing the... There's 999 fucking cranes in the room, and he handed us one of them. Did he hand us one of the 999, or was that the 1000th one? Think about that shit.
Tim wants a kiss.
Hi, Tim.
Give me a kiss. No, not like that. Tim is not a whore.
You don't know what Tim and I have done. You're not home.
He doesn't want it to continue.
You're not at home all the time.
He told me.
He told me too. You have to make a choice, Tim. I paced up and down the halls whilst chewing the inside of my cheek. Ow. Owen needs to know the truth, and the only way he'll come to terms with himself. I thought I had a plan, but there's little chance I can pull it off on my own. I need a partner in crime or something. Or I need to stop watching so much TV. Can I really expect myself to solve a 7-year-old murder? My head hurts from all this thinking. This is going to be impossible. Well, I gotta do something with these Black Cat fan letters. I perk up at the sound of familiar voices speaking in hushed tones. Something doesn't technically mean give them to Philip. Ever heard of a papier-mâché? You mean you don't actually read them? What did you do with the last batch of letters I left you? Where do you think all those paper planes I launched through your window came from? I'm not gracing these people with a response. Most of them are creepers anyhow. I see what you mean. This one's return address is badly drawn stick figure humping a beer bottle. What the fuck? Oh, that's from Morse. I'll take it. His drawings of dicks aren't exactly anatomically correct. That's what you're concerned about? I'll let Morse know that when I see him again. That guy really needs to work on his... Jenny suddenly spots me listening in and beams, waving at me enthusiastically. Oh, hey there, Ghostbuster. Nice to see you still alive. Hi, Jenny. Nice to see you trespassing around school again. It's not trespassing if it's Visitor's Day. See, no harm, no foul. Except your doctor will probably break shit a brick if he knew you snuck out again. Your doctor? What's wrong with you? He's got enough bricks to build a shit castle by now. He should be used to it. I stared between Philip and Jenny curiously. They seemed awfully familiar with each other. I didn't realize you were close. How did that happen? Well, I've been a close friend, occasional nuisance to Philip since forever. It's a long story. Jenny elbowed Philip to add to said story. He sighed and shrugged. I broke my wrist when I was little. Jenny and I ended up sharing a hospital room together. Oh, that's nice. She's been dragging me into her little adventures ever since. Jenny grinned and jabbed an eager finger against my chest. Speaking of adventures, you still owe me a tour of the school after our little ghost-busting fiasco. Oh, great. She's captured you too, John. Good luck. Most of her adventures end in bruised skin and dignity. Oh, hush, Philip. Aren't you supposed to be helping teachers out with Visitors' Day events or something? Shit, I knew I was forgetting something. I better get going before Mr. Rokov does something stupid again. Philip dashed down the hall in a rush, but doubled back and gave us a stern look. You two better stay out of trouble. God damn it. I'm gonna smack that shit at you. Jenny placed a melodramatic hand over her heart and tried to look offended. What I say? Me in trouble? I would never. Philip rolled his eyes before disappearing down the hall again. Jenny laughed heartily and turned to me with a grin. I couldn't help but smile back. Her enthusiasm was infectious. So how have you been, Ghostbuster? Seems like we've got a surprisingly mutual group of friends. Yeah, no, that was planned. How do you know who I'm friends with? The teachers gossip a lot. You'd be surprised how much you can learn. I was shocked to hear that you're buddies with Philip, Sissel, and Owen. That's like all my closest friends in a nutshell. Wasn't that fucking convenient? Will the coincidences ever cease? I have no idea. And we will find out in the next episode. Thank y'all very much for watching this episode. Repeat on the next one. I just said that. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I have been the trained up professional speaking for the voices in my head. And I'll say until next time, fare thee well. Bye, everyone!